All right, good morning. It is Monday, April 11th, just about 5 minutes before the open Central Standard Time, so it's almost 8:30. We've got the 1 minute here, 15-minute chart here. I am looking at many other charts, but pretty much really just the daily, the 15-minute, 5 minute, and the 1 minute are the ones I'm paying most attention to. I will be back in just a minute here. Let me mute the mic. Okay, good morning. It is, like I said, Monday, April 11th, just about a minute before the open. So we're going to be watching the markets today, watching the Emini S&P 500. I've got my ugly mug up here on the screen. So So sorry I'm never looking at it, but I don't think that makes much of a difference. I'm always looking at other charts I've got up here. And hopefully you can hear me okay. I made a video Friday and the volume on my mic was turned way down. So once this one's done, I'll have to go back over and watch over it, see if the volume's okay. All right, we've got our 15-minute chart up, our 1-minute chart. Green and the red dotted line denote the overnight high and the low. And then I'll be putting in a line that also denotes the first minute of trade. We just refer to that as the opening range. And we'll be looking to see what the market wants to do here. So looking back, just to kind of give a recap, let me drag the daily into view here. Here's our daily chart right here. So red line is the overnight low. I've got this as a target if we kind of break down 44.15-ish or 44 mid-teens, somewhere around there. And I was talking the other day on Friday about 44.65 being an important level. We came down to 68 or like 68.75 right here and then pushed up, kind of rallied. So I'm going to be watching that 65 level this morning, and I'll be sure to get NASDAQ up here as well. All right, so here's our opening range. Oops, got the wrong thing on here. All right, opening range looks like 58 down to 50.25. It did hang out a little while under 44.50 in the overnight session. So if we get down here and look weak, I'll probably look for a spot to short it at. I will be kind of bouncing back and forth a little bit between some gold stocks that I've got, but those are longer term plays. I went over some of those Friday as well. All right. Zoom out a bit. It is 3 months. Let me check out the NASDAQ, see what it's doing. Okay, so NASDAQ looks like the weaker of the two. Pushing lower here. And it is a gap day, so we've got to be mindful of that. Usually on gap days, there's more potential for movement, or there can be at least. Nothing's ever, 100%, nothing's ever written in stone. So we'll see what they do here at the overnight low. Now this 44.45 level, that's super important down there. That's where prices come twice now, and buyers have stepped in. So that's an important area to watch. And we're going to watch this 50 level, see if it holds it or how well it holds it. So NASDAQ is taking out its overnight lows. I'll watch it. If it holds in here, I might consider a long, but don't see it just yet. Here's a 5-minute chart right here. So here's our opening range, right? Looks like 58 got rejected pretty good. You can see that it's been support. It was a little bit of resistance here. We never got that low on Friday. So now we'll be watching to see if we can push back up above. So I'm tempted to get long here, but I am reminding myself we're 4 minutes in. It's a Monday. The market's gapping down. we're going to be setting the tempo probably for the rest of the week as far as what we're going to do, what kind of prices we want to explore. And so I've labeled myself the no FOMO trader in part to remind myself that, hey, setups are going to come along. You're going to miss some. You're going to get on most. So don't have a fear of missing out. And essentially you'll know it when you see it, when something sets up and it comes your way. So we'll keep that in mind this morning. All right, we're almost 5 minutes in here. I'll pull up NASDAQ one more time. Oh. So let's see, it was Friday that I had a line right here at 65, and I was thinking that would serve as support. Now we're under that level, and so we'll see if we get any resistance up there. So when we're trading, we've got to remind ourselves there's 3 different positions we can take. We can be long, meaning we can be buyers. We can be short, meaning that we can be sellers, or we can be flat, meaning that the market just hasn't generated enough information yet, and we're really not sure what side to take. So we just sit back and wait. I'll be trading this morning from 8:30 until about 10, maybe 10:30. And truthfully, for me, the type of trading that I do, 1 minute is a little bit of a shorter time frame. I'll have it up just to kind of watch nuance of what's going on. I pay a lot more attention to 5 minute and even the 15 minute. With most of my trades being anywhere from 10 minutes to 15, maybe 20 or a half hour, then sometimes having runners on that can go longer. So there's no news coming out this morning or anything like that. Here we go. Okay, seller stepping in. Getting some movement here. So there's that 44.44. That's important right there. So whenever we're trading, we've got to ask ourselves, for this trade to not work out, where does price have to go? So where would it have to go for me to know that I'm wrong? Just put sell. So it's good to have your scale out and profit targets, but you also need to know structurally, where does the price have to go for me to know that I'm wrong and I need to get out, jump ship. So when I enter a trade here, I'll make it known where I feel price has to go for me to be wrong. All right, so we've breached the lows put in a few days ago on the S&P. Let's see how NASDAQ looks here. Let's check out a few other gold stocks real quick. All right. So the kind of trading I do, I would guess that most people would call it pretty boring. I'm not in and out. I'm not, trading out of boredom if I don't see anything and trying to make something happen. I'm not trying to force my will on the market. I'm just waiting for a setup where I like the odds, where I like the risk to reward, where I have a clear understanding of what I think the market's trying to do. So, there's some days where we feel like we know what the market's doing and we're trading and we're like in sync with the market. And those are days when you can make a lot of money. There's other days where you admit like, man, I don't know what's going on today. And then there's still other days where you feel like you know what's happening, but you're not in sync with the market. You feel like this should be happening and it's not. In fact, the opposite is happening. And you can find yourself trading thinking, well, this should be happening. And you're just fighting it and trading against the market for part of the day or the whole day. And I think we've all been there, myself included, many a times. So I am careful to just give the market plenty of time to set up and to let it come to me to try to find some kind of a conviction as to what I think it might do. And just right now, I don't have much of a conviction one way or the other. So I'm just going to hang tight, sit back, and see what the market's trying to do. See what it's trying to tell me. Got another minute on the 5-minute bar. As you can see the other day, this was it Wednesday, Thursday, price action was just pretty wonky in here, like back and forth, whippy. This I think was on the Fed minutes, so a lot of just whipping back and forth. And even today, this morning, I feel like we could get a good amount of just volatility back and forth, longer term time players stepping in where it's harder to detect what's going on. All right, so here's the guys trying to short the opening range right here, right? That's a play that some people will take. Will come down. Some guys will get short here and try to take profit back around here, figuring that they're wrong if market gets above, up above this area here. I'm not taking that trade, but just making it known. Almost took a short there with the thought that this is resistance, but I'm not in it. I'm not short, not long. Just waiting. So Nasdaq's hanging out above its overnight low. Yes, or the S&P is right at it. If you're long here, I feel like first target could be 60, then the next would be like 65. So far it's hanging out below 50, 44.50. Let's see if we can push above it. See if this level holds. I might consider a short here. I'm going to sell it here, figuring that I'm wrong above this 44.55. Might have jumped the gun there, but we'll see. So I really needed to get below 50 to show weakness here. Oh, all right, I'm stopped out. I might try it again if we get show weakness here. I'm going to try it again right here. I want to see it hold below 50 now. I got a real tight stop on this one as well. So that's our level right there, 50. Keeping in mind that NASDAQ is above its overnight low though, so that's not that great. All right, I'm going to buy a little bit right here. Here we go. I only bought a sixth of my position. I'm still holding some. I'm going to buy a little bit more right here. So I'm in 2/3 of my original position. All right, I'm going to buy some more here. Missed that. All right, I'm in half of my original position. Wrong above this area right here. Yeah, this is one where we'll see. We'll give it a minute. So I think that first one, my stop was maybe just a little bit too tight. I shorted it here with the stop right at this level. Took me out. Still felt kind of weak, so I figured I'd get short here. And then didn't have a hard stop in, but thought if it got much above this, that I'd get out of it. So this was a rather quick trade for me. And to show weakness, I want to see it below 50 here. I'm pleased with my position, though. Or like my entry price. So if we take this out, I'll be watching the 65 to 68 area. And at this point, it's like, who knows? You know, just flip a coin, see what happens. 5 minutes, wonky. So is the 15. We just got a lot of back and forth action there. Here, let me show you the 5 minute. So, oops. We're watching the 1 minute here for kind of nuance. And then looks like we'll probably get taken out. This here, just kind of back and forth, nothing to get excited about. Market's moving a little bit today, a little bit more than it has lately. So I've still got half my position on. I'm in just 2 ticks over break even, so I like that. If we take it out, get up higher, can't hold that, I might consider another short. But keeping in mind very much so that it is Monday, market's setting up, trying to determine what it wants to do. Need to see it stay below 50 in order to show weakness. If we can do that, we might see a retest of the lows here. Be good. Got another 30 seconds until we close out the 5 minute bar. For me, that was definitely more of a scalp trade. I was in and out pretty quick, but it moved in my favor quickly. So there's sometimes it takes forever for it to move 10 points, and then there's other times where it does it in a matter of minutes. So when it gets close to a profit target, you gotta get out, take some profit, pay yourself a little bit. All right, let's see what it does here. I'm wanting to get better at adding to positions, so this is one. Let's see if they flush it out. Get them down here now. Again, I'm watching this 50. This was on the overnight. Here, let me pull up the overnight chart here. This might make more sense. So on the overnight, you can see 50 was a pretty good area of support, right? Well, that was the overnight support. Come up, came down, got a pretty big wick here on the 15-minute. Now it's below it, so we'd like to see it get below and push further. So we'll watch it and see. All right. So my stop's definitely right here, being mindful that they could squeeze some shorts out of this and just run it real quick, then maybe a fade after that. So looks like they're gonna take it out. It's interesting on the futures how quickly things can change, how things can look one way 1 minute and look totally the opposite just a minute later. All right, this is our chance right here now. I feel like if we don't get below this soon, we'll see a push above there. Got another 2.5 minutes until our 15-minute bar is done. Feels like to me that we're gonna push up a bit higher. Nasdaq's holding above its overnight low. So again, I'm still in half my position. My stop is right here. It's tight, but it's right here at 55 quarter. Got another minute and 20 until our 15-minute bar is done. So a lot of traders will wait for that too. So it'd be great if we can put in a red bar here and get lower. Might add to some weakness. But for right now, we're just hanging out at that 50 level. It's an important level right there. Spend a lot of time just chopping back and forth. We're definitely coiling though. Coiling up, waiting to go, waiting to break one way or the other, waiting to break either to the upside or the downside. Flip a coin. Yeah, again, 5 minutes, it's just back and forth, back and forth. Looks like a rib cage kind of, right, with the bones just sticking out. Okay, we've got a new 15 minute. Let's see if it does anything here. See if we get a push to the downside. Got to take out that 45 level. Let's see if we can get it here. I'm going to trail this thing a little bit. Alright, let's see if I can trail here. Again, we're going to want to see it stay below 50. I've got my stop pulled up a little bit tighter now. Yeah, it looks like it's going to go now. Looks like it might go. So again, let's see what it does here at 50, if it stays below it or gets above it. NASDAQ came down to its overnight low, hasn't pushed through it yet. S&P right on the overnight low. I've got one trailing stop just above 50 there. And then another stop just a little bit, well, it's right at my entry, right around 52. Alright, that stop got taken out. Okay, I'm flat. I'm out. And you know, there's sometimes where the market just isn't. So I'm looking at the 1 minute. I'm super zoomed in here. This looks weak again, and it came up here and couldn't take it out. So I'm gonna sell a little bit here. I'm not getting in too heavy, but I'm wrong if we get above this 54 level. Probably should have kept my initial stop in place there. All right, let's do or die for the bears right here. Looking for a little something. See if we can get some follow through. I'm in small on that little pop. It came up, and then I'm in a small amount, not like a full size position. So again, I gotta get down below here. All right, I'm gonna take a little off just right here. I'm still in 2/3 of that original position. Here's that 44 level again. It's an important area. 15 minute looking, looks like that could be our resistance. Let's see if we can push down below it now, get some follow through. NASDAQ really not following through much. So again, I'm going to try to trail this thing and keep a tighter trail on it. Again, if we're weak, I want to see it stay below 50. I want to see it stay below that if we're weak, if we're going to sell off. If it gets above it, I don't want it. All right, I'm stopped out. I moved my stop to 50 there. Boy, this is, I've been doing a lot more trading this morning than I usually do. All right, so it tries to take out 50. It's hanging out below it. Nothing really here, though, with this price action that got me excited to think, oh, we could, pop higher. I better get long. And that's why I kept my trailing stop. $15-minute, just still indecisive, right? Looking at this chart. It's back and forth, hanging out. NASDAQ doing a lot of the same, really. $5-minute, nothing really to write home about there. Looking at this. Keep wanting to short this thing, but it keeps whipping back and forth, so I'm going to stay on the sidelines. If we get up to here, I'll consider a short up in this area, the 65 to 68. Let me show you the 5-minute here. So here we go. So it's good to know when to be involved and when to just sit back. Now, we did come down, kind of putting in, it's kind of like rounding out here, so you could make the argument like, hey, it's rounding out, we're going to push lower, but I don't know. It's anyone's guess at this point, I think. NASDAQ is just hanging out where it could certainly go lower, or it could move a bit higher. Flip a coin. So this morning, I don't think I've overtraded for me. Was looking to catch a move, and the market just isn't showing commitment one way or the other. So at this point, I'm just going to step back, wait and see if something new happens. There's a little bit of FOMO that I'm dealing with right now. If I feel like maybe I should get short here, stop above here, and then we come out and take this out. But, at this point, it just as easily could pop up above here. as it could put in new lows here. So I'm just going to sit back and wait, see if I can gain any insight, get any clarity. So that's going to be it. So again, we're coming up here, getting rejected, staying below 50. So it makes me want to short it again, that we've come up here and for another time we can't get through it. All right, I'm going to try another short. There we go. With I'm wrong above this level again. We'll see if we can get some commitment to the downside now. I don't know. All right, let's see if we can get some sellers in here. NASDAQ looking like it could be getting a little weaker now. So several times we've come up to 55 and they've just sold it. Again, we're watching 50. See if we stay below it. See if we can break. Who knows, today could be kind of a doji where we're just indecisive the whole day. Indecisive. Watching NASDAQ here for a little bit of a Q. Boy, it's tricky. I mean, NASDAQ, it'll look strong, then it'll look weak. It'll look weak, then it'll look strong. Looks just like the S&P, real similar regarding the 15-minute. So, got to get below that overnight low now. Let's see if we can push through. See if we can make something happen here. All right, let's see if we get a breakdown now. Still nothing, huh? Got just another 20 seconds until a new 15-minute bar opens. At this moment, we're looking a little weaker here with this 15-minute bar, but not much. NASDAQ kind of mixed as well. Market just not showing much conviction one way or the other. And it makes me concerned that we're just going to just run them out, take out some stops. Okay, new 15-minute bar is closed. We're below 50 for now, but We've been dancing back and forth around that level all morning. So I'm in again. Again, maybe over trading this morning. Let's see. I'm going to keep a tight stop on this guy. Again, I don't want to see it over 50. But man, you talk about an indecisive market. I don't think we haven't seen this action in the S&P in quite a while, where it's just back and forth, hanging out, flip a coin. So, whoops, here's the 5 minute. Come down, just did nothing. Okay, I'm stopped out. I'm out of that position. Stopped out. Have my stop above there. NASDAQ looking weaker now. Boy, as soon as we get up there, we just sell them. As soon as we get up to 55, it just sells right off. Could this be the break we're looking for? It may be. May not be. Next level to break is going to be that 42. NASDAQ hasn't put in new lows yet, but it's close. S&P is a little bit further from putting in new lows. There we go. $44.44 knocking at your door. All right, I'm gonna take a quick break. I'll be back. Gonna hit the bathroom here for a minute. All right, let's see if it comes now. So let's see, we've had a 42 to kind of 10-minute range. I'm sorry, a 10-point range for the last 40 minutes. Indecision. And we're keeping context in mind. That's important. We're keeping in mind that this is that level on the S&P. We've come down, we've bounced, come down again, we've bounced. We're right here now, right at 44. To me, it looks weak. It seems weak. That's why I've been shorting it most of the time this morning. But to be determined as far as if it moves. So at this point, I'm just going to wait on bigger players to move the market and look for a spot to get involved. It is looking weak to me, but every time this morning that it looks weak, they'll just kind of pop it up, run some stops, and then bring it right back down. Still watching that 50 level to see if we stay under it, which we are. Got another minute and 40 to go on the 5-minute bar. All right, let's see. This might be it right here, coming up pretty soon. I think we could have pushed lower. We pull up NASDAQ here. And Q. So same thing right now. I don't see anything too exciting, anything too important. So I'm just going to sit back and watch, see what happens. Right? Tempo, context, those are important. There's days in the past where it's kind of a scratch day or where you don't make much money. And I'll remind myself, hey, that's better than losing a lot. There's days where, man, I've lost a bundle, lost so much. And it's interesting how at the end of those days, a lot of times once I get over it, I can have an optimism thinking like, okay, like I've got this, I can do this. And then I'll have other days that are, like today where I'm just kind of a scratch, really at break even, haven't done anything. And I think, man, this is so frustrating. This is so hard to get a handle on. And it is, but it's interesting, just the psychology behind our mindsets when it comes to trading. All right, so I've got to remind myself that I've labeled myself. No one else has labeled me, keep in mind, just myself. It's the name I want to go for, is the no FOMO trader. And so this morning, looking at what the market's doing, just all this indecisiveness back and forth. We're at a critical level. I've had a FOMO trade. I'd say I've had two FOMO trades this morning where I got in just because I didn't want to miss the move. I'm just going to be patient, sit back and wait, let the market just show me what it wants to do. And from there, I'll make a decision. And again, we can't catch every move, right? Like there's so many moves that happen in the market just nonstop. Bitcoin, the rally in commodities, rally in other things, shorts and other things, meme stocks and all that. We can't catch them all. We've just got to focus on what we know, stay in our wheelhouse, and be good stewards of that. and make good educated guesses. All right, NASDAQ putting in new lows. S&P is not there yet. I do have kind of a target for NASDAQ if we get down to 14,000. Here we go. This is probably the telltale sign right here. Coming down and then holding below that overnight low. I suppose I could have gotten short here and figured this time I would be wrong above 50 or certainly above 55 there. So finally getting that move that I was thinking that we'd get. And we'll see what the buyers do here. We'll see if we get some commitment somewhere along the line here. These were hard to short up here, obviously, where come up and you didn't know if it was going to run up into here or even get higher. So they'd come up here and then just quickly get pushed right back down. Boy, it is a slow mover today. Moving slowly. I'm going to switch to NASDAQ real quick. Just, I've been watching it on another screen, but... Okay, so we got close to those levels on NASDAQ. Let's watch it here. That's a tough one for me to navigate today. So on this one, thinking back, really the setup was right here. And I pulled the trigger too many times this morning. Had the right thesis, had a bias, not too strong, but I had a bias that we could potentially go short. So we'd pop up and I'd keep getting short. We'd pop up, it'd get rejected. I'd keep getting short on like 49 to 50. I would have a tight stop. It'd get me stopped out. But this right here was kind of the level. Good, decent risk to reward here where you could have got in around 45. Figure you'd be wrong somewhere above here, I guess, so 7 points, and then looking for 10 points to come to the downside. So lesson learned there. I suppose you could be holding it, keeping a runner on. Maybe have your stop right around here at your entry point if you were short there. See what we do here. It's a snoozer. So far, it could change. Target I've got, if we do push lower, would be mid-teens. So call it 44.16, 44, maybe even 17. But I don't know if we get that low, though. We'll see. Well, kind of a boring Monday morning so far. I feel like we've got to get lower to get longer term buyers a bit more interested. I'm going to flip through another few other charts here real quick. All right, let's see if we push them lower now. Market trending lower, but it's not in a hurry to go lower. Not in a hurry. Well, geez, just a whole bunch of nothing. It is slow. Very slow. I'm wondering, so NASDAQ, where we're at right now, there's an area where if we get a little bit lower, I'll consider a long on the S&P. I'd like to see the S&P a bit lower, though. I'm not looking to get long right here. Like at this point, I mean, looking at the 15-minute, right? It's like where do we go? It just seems unlikely that we get a bounce here and push right back up into this area. To me, looking at NASDAQ, it feels like, well, I'll just be quiet. Sometimes you try to hypothesize and guess, and that's something else that I've realized too. You know, there's some days where it's pretty clear, like the market is setting up and you feel like you have a good grasp on what can happen. And then I think for me, like maybe days like today, I'm scouring through charts, I'm looking, I'm feeling like, boy, I can't see anything, nothing's really too decisive. I got to figure out what the market's trying to do. And it's times like that during the day where, hey, it's like if you don't see anything, just step back, wait, let the market set up and show you what it's trying to do. And I'm wondering if we just don't get just a grind slower. Just slow movement lower. So S&P putting in new lows, same with NASDAQ. Tempo is very slow this morning. Very slow indeed. Shrink this guy down a bit. Okay, NASDAQ close to those targets I had. The tempo is just, it's so slow this morning that I'm not committed to doing anything just yet. I really don't like traders who just complain all day as far as, this, that. So forgive me if it sounds like I'm complaining. I'm just thinking out loud here. So for me, it's hard to judge what's going on with a slow tempo like this. But if we keep in mind the words of Mark Douglas, it says that something can happen, or something will happen, and anything can happen. If we know that, we're in good shape. We've got our stops in place, we know where we're right, we know where we're wrong, and we make adjustments accordingly. We don't take it personal, keep our emotions out of it, right? Anything can happen, and something will happen. And today what's happening is that it's a slow market. It is slow. Doesn't mean it has to remain slow. But right now the tempo is just, it's pretty boring. Pretty boring. Not a lot of volatility just yet. Slow grind lower. To me, this looks like everyone's trying to catch a bottom here, right? Like trying to catch it, waiting for a pop, hoping it pops up. 37 to 38, or 37, yeah, right there. 37 half. That's your resistance right there. But looks like a lot of people trying to catch a bottom here.
I'm going to step back for just a minute too. Take a break as I don't see anything too exciting. I'm stepping away. I'll watch the screen, but I'll turn the mic on if I see anything exciting. I'm back. I think this is going to wrap it up for me. Really just not much that I'm seeing here. It kind of feels like an overnight session. Just the way that price is moving slowly. All right. Happy trading. I'll be back tomorrow right around 8:30 Central Time.